So here to present the first Career Achievement honoree of the evening, please welcome the Dean of UCLA's School of Theater, Film, and Television, Teri Schwartz.
Thank you. Good evening, ACE members, friends, and guests of the American Cinema Editors. I am so delighted and very honored to be asked to present the ACE Eddie Award for Career Achievement to my colleague and my wonderful good friend, Richard Halsey. Richard. My passion is for education, filmmaking, and the power of humanistic storytelling to not only delight and entertain, but to illuminate the human spirit, to inspire, enlighten, engage, and move audiences worldwide. Richard has been one of the best exemplars of this ideal through his multifaceted talents, his personal worldview, and through an astonishing array of great films where he has served as editor. Richard and I worked on 3 movies together that I produced and where he was the editor: Beaches, Sister Act, and Joe versus the Volcano. Thank you. In that snapshot of his long and distinguished career, he proved how tremendously talented he is as a true film artist. I can honestly say that Richard was the perfect choice for each of those films and a true joy for me and all of the team to work with. We laughed heartily together, found the fun and good spirit in each project, and to this day have so many shared fond memories of those films and of that time together. I couldn't have asked for a greater collaborator or colleague. Succeeding at the highest level as an editor requires a balancing act of tremendous creativity, artistry, and practicality, and Richard has walked that tightrope with the very, very best. At his core, he is a great storyteller and distinctly understands that the story all comes together finally and magically, and might I add, through a lot of hard work, talent, and skill. It all comes together in the editing room. Early on, Richard developed an intuitive sense of how to shape a film, of what works and what doesn't, of how masterful editing has always been in service of great storytelling, and that it can and must bring out the best in the director's and the team's vision. Richard has always been open to innovation, never settling for the familiar when the superior became an option. He was never afraid to be bold in his choices for the way a scene could play, but he always had the lightest touch, too. Whether it was just lingering for just a few extra frames and getting that one last heartfelt moment of Bette Midler singing "Wind Beneath My Wings" in Beaches, or finding one extra beat of Whoopi Goldberg doing a double take with Maggie Smith in Sister Act, Richard always had the right instincts for what worked to get the most out of a scene. Richard has a tremendous eye while working under whatever pressure was laid upon him, and believe me, that could be plenty. You could always depend on Richard to help the director realize his vision, to get through that third leg of the marathon when everybody's energy is drained and nerves might be frayed. You've all been there, all of you sitting in the room tonight, so you know what I mean. Steady as a sea captain, loyal as a first mate, Richard would calmly help guide the project through the tide of producers and other members of the creative team, the studios, the financiers, the marketing teams, the test screenings, the final mix, well, everybody. You need a cool head and a sensitive touch, and truly, no one has a better bedside manner than Richard. He has triumphed in many different genres, which isn't surprising. Richard is very much a Renaissance man, a person of great and discerning taste, and knowledgeable about art, photography, literature, and music, the humanities in general. He brings a wondrous level of curiosity about the world, about people, and brings tremendous intelligence and wisdom to his creative process. How wide-ranging is Richard's career? It would be easier to ask, what hasn't Richard done? Richard began in the 20th Century Fox editorial department under Ken Hall. Yes, let's hear it for Ken Hall. Then, after service in the Army, he transitioned to picture editor, where he worked on Peyton Place as an assistant editor, learning under George Nicholson, and then as an editor himself. A journey to the big screen soon followed with 4 decades of amazing and memorable pictures. Just a few examples that should bring smiles to your faces are Edward Scissorhands, So I Married an Axe Murderer, The Net, Earth Girls Are Easy, Dragnet, and American Gigolo. His work with Paul Mazursky alone led him to Next Stop Greenwich Village, Harry and Tonto, Moscow on the Hudson, and Down and Out in Beverly Hills, each of them a unique slice of American life. Nurturing the films large and small of first-time directors has always been a particular skill of Richard's. In addition to working with John Patrick Shanley on Joe versus the Volcano, Richard helped bring home some incredible projects, including Michael Gottlieb's Mannequin and Jason Miller's That Championship Season. Richard remained equally adept on the small screen, winning an ACE Award for TNT's Pirates of the Silicon Valley in 2000, and earning an Emmy and ACE nominations for Mazursky's Coast to Coast, starring Richard Dreyfuss and Judy Davis in 2003. In his crowning achievement, Richard won an ACE Eddie Award and the Oscar for the quintessential underdog movie, John Avildsen's Rocky. A perfect, yes. Well done, Richard. A project with as many odds against it as there were for its title character, Rocky, at once offered a major creative opportunity as well as a major test for everybody involved. And Richard, of course, passed with flying colors. I've always admired how Richard could cut comedy so brilliantly on the one hand, and then balance fast and furious action with more intimate dramatic scenes on the other hand. How he has such a musical ear when it comes to finding the internal rhythm, the musicality, as it were, of each scene, enabling the best of the directing, writing, and acting to emerge. His ability to help navigate the film on its memorable journey testifies as much as anything, not only to Richard's brilliance, but to his fine and his good spirit. Richard is simply a joy to work with for 2 fundamental reasons, although there are many reasons. He is always there to serve the best interests of the film. He unselfishly brings integrity, artistry, and skill to the process. Directors love having him at their side, and Richard always provides an upbeat presence. He is so optimistic about the chances for the film, no matter the challenges that face him or the project. He never gets down. Quite simply, as an artist and as a person, Richard embodies the very best that this industry has to offer. I am so happy for him, his wife Colleen, who became his co-editor and worked side by side so successfully with Richard on many projects. And I am very, very happy for Richard and Colleen's entire family. This is a richly deserved honor for a long, wonderful, and distinguished career in Hollywood that has touched on every facet of visual storytelling for the past 40 years. Now, please enjoy this wonderful tribute to Richard's career.